on the variables of the MTI regression analysis, like the independent variables, like the primary school one went, the high school one went, may not really reflect their level of need. Some of us happen to be beneficiaries of well-wishers right from preschool. Now, when we want to gauge our poverty index by the primary school and the high school we went, it might not really reflect our level of need. And as though there are appeals, they are not always successful, and this is to the detriment of our constituents. And again, Your Excellency, I know you've talked about capitation and about maybe trustees owning private and public universities, but I'll give you a case study of Kisii University. They had an influx of students and their facilities were so stretched. Whereas a school like Desta University, we have a state-of-the-art School of Law and School of Nursing, and these facilities are laying bare, and some of these students could also come and learn with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Okay, maybe I check another. Yeah, maybe this way.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Amongaro Richard from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University. I have but a question. In the first case, I want to ask the people from the health board. There are 40 years per now, but when we joined, we applied for these loans. And so I'm expected to settle my loan, that is summing to almost 240 plus the interest. I know it can't exceed over 300,000. But today, with the new funding model, how much are these students expected to pay at the end of their fourth year? Another question. You say that the banding began in 1986, but it never sounded like it sounds today. We never knew that these bands existed. Okay, maybe the ideas and the ideologies are good, but the mode of implementation has gone astray. Why could you do this so that these students doesn't know or get to know where they're placed? Because as they join, they must ask, which band am I placed? So that they can know which fee they're going to pay. His Excellency, in the field of education, is a place that requires silence. It doesn't require spectators or fans to cheer as we sit in class to take our exams, or a referee to be biased on the other team. Under the capacity of your office, you are capable of facilitating and capacitating the reconstruction of this new funding model to be work for us. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you for this chance.
Okay, they are saying too much behind. Maybe after you will come forward here. But
with respect to hierarchy, my name is Melody Weremonjeri. I'm from JQuat. I'm also a law student. My question is on late disbursement of funds to students. As it stands in the previous, there are previous instances where late disbursement of loans to students was a common occurrence. And I happen to be, to sit in a chair, to chair in a bursary committee in my university. And it's really disheartening to see students unable to do the exams because school fees has not been fully catered for by the time the exams begin. What is the government or the help planning to do in that regard so that we can minimize these instances of late disbursements to universities? Thank you.
Thank you, Melody. Finally, we'll do another round. Then we'll come back to you and we'll come to the people here. Yes? Who? Okay, somebody in front.
I want first to acknowledge your presence as the 5th President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. My beautiful name that my father gave me is Kisero Junior Kennedy Otieno. I'm the Secretary General of Kenya Methodist University. And I have a few things to put across, Your Excellency. First, when I entered this hall, I like checking where I am. I saw from whatever is written here, hashtag, fee has fallen. Your Excellency, the fee has not fallen, that's why we are here. So, and first thing first, Mr. President, I've been privileged to be under your administration in 2 capacities. One, I enjoyed your administration when you were an MP in Eldoret North.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, we used to learn hapo Kamagut hapo chini karibu na kwenu. Yes. And secondly, I've also experienced your leadership now that you are the president. Mr. President, I can assure you they are totally different. From when you were MP, people used to go to the street to celebrate your achievements. Nowadays, we just go to the streets to demonstrate. And Mr. President, don't get me wrong in the first place. The reason is why I know when you are the president, it comes with a lot of responsibility and people to advise. And I will start off by saying those who advised in this new funding model, I will not be wrong to say there is a problem. And that's why we are here. We have to go back to the drawing board. We have to start off afresh. And my question is, Mr. President, the first question is, what was so wrong with the old funding model that we could not sit down and amend it? Because even a constitution of a country, you just don't wake up one day and bring a new constitution. We always go and say, hii clause imetufinya kidogo kama wananchi. We go to the parliament, they amend it, and they take it to the president to ascend and sign it. So I feel we should go back to the old funding model and amend it. Because, Mr. President, we don't lack stakeholders, we don't lack resources. These people sitting here, watu wanafanya law, nursing, medicine, there are brains here which can sit down in those panel and say, where did we go wrong? First, I want to acknowledge that the new funding model has got good ideas, very brilliant ideas, but the implementation is very wrong, and it's not pleasing based on the fact that there are also challenges from the help. You know, when comrades sit in the same room with the help guys, it's a miracle. But we are very happy to sit down with them and discuss in your presence. Mr. President, I want to also talk about, I come from KEMU, which is a private university. And my question there is in, you have spoken, I've understood what you have said in regards to scholarship and the loans. Comrades, you know, kama SG wendi mtu wa mkono. I have my president here, Masai Chebet. You know, comrades come to you and tell you, Kisero, we have been placed in this band. And people are really suffering, Mr. President. And my question is, why then do COOPs have to place them in private university if they can't be sustained the same way as those in public university? And in that regard, Mr. President, I acknowledge that you have said the government, kidogo tu, this is my chance with the Mr. President. You have acknowledged that the government said it has debts, and my university is one that is in the same category. Tunadai the government. They have been so lenient enough to allow students to learn with the limited resources they have. Tunaomba tu hata kidogo ndio university iendelee kufanya kazi, because we need to learn, those who we are there in KEMU. Then Mr. President, recently you were awarded a beautiful degree at Baraton University, if I'm not wrong. Honorary. Degree at Baraton University. And there was one picture that really took my attention. I know most of you saw the picture. There was a little girl called Naomi who was in the midst of graduate, and he was there admiring all the graduates, the beautiful gown. Then I asked myself, why does this new funding model want to kill the dream of that young girl of one day graduating? I want to say this, Mr. President. As the commander, I first started by saying I acknowledge your president as your presence as the 5th president and the commander-in-chief of our defense forces. And one of your roles in that regard is to act. Please act, Mr. President. We beg you. Please act. Then lastly, namalizia kabisa. Lastly, Mr. President, we don't have to go to the street when we can resolve this thing here today. Ama namna gani wangwana? Yes. Because we also don't like going to the streets when we can solve things at the table. We are ready to be part of the discussion. We are ready to listen. We are ready to work and ensure that we change this. But the bottom line remains, let's go to the old funding model, amend it to what you wanted to achieve with the new funding model. Thank you so much. God bless you.